We're going to be talking about upgrading your mind and upgrading your thinking. If you missed it when I introduced myself earlier, my name is Lucia Dramat. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a coach. And what I do is work with driven and ambitious individuals to build confidence and courage. And if you're a pioneer, if you're a boss babe, if you are an innovator, if you are a behind the scenes, but you have great ideas, and my goodness, if you could just get past this introverted lack of confidence, the world would be changed, then I'm your girl to help you build that confidence and courage. So today, I'm going to be sharing just a few keys and tools in the next 10, 12 minutes to help you elevate your mindset. I know we're talking about AI and we're talking about machines and we're talking about all these incredible things that AI can do, but the best operating system that you'll ever meet, touch, is your mind. Your mind is the number one operating system. You are sitting there. I don't know if the men can relate, but the ladies sitting there, you're breathing, right? Okay, men can relate with that. You're blinking, right? Men can relate with that. But you're sitting here, you're thinking about what you told your sibling, your sister, your brother. You're doing what you need to do here, absorbing as much as you can. You're also keeping an eye out on your WhatsApp if a message comes through or that email that you're waiting for. At the same time, you're thinking, did I put the iron off? Goodness, who am I kidding? I haven't ironed in the past 5 years. We're thinking about all these things at the exact same time. Just multitasking. Your mind is doing all of that. You don't tell your mind, blink. You know, your eyes are getting dry. Just blink again. It just does it, right? It does all of that. And you know what's even more interesting? You've got this reticular activating system, a little bit of a filter. It sits right here on top of your spine. And what it does is it tells you to pay attention to certain things and not pay attention to other things. So you don't feel, you know, the gel on your nails. You don't feel it. You don't feel all the fabric touching your skin. You don't feel every single hair on your skin. Are we allowed to say ladies have hair on their skin? You don't feel that. You don't feel absolutely everything. In this room, when all of us are speaking, you don't hear every conversation. There's a buzz, but if you hear your name, you turn around. Someone said my name. Who said my name? In all the noise, you hear your name because your filters are open to that. So your mind is doing all of that at the very same time, making sure that you are not being overstimulated and driven crazy, but you're able to manage what you need to do. Isn't that incredible? All of that happening at the same time. And for ladies, I think we add just a bit more to it as well. We put more onto that load. So your mind's evolving and changing all the time. So everything you expose yourself to starts to shape the way you think. Who's listened to some of the topics today and thought, you know what, I'm actually going to change this. I'm actually going to start looking at how I can include this a little bit more. You've exposed yourself to something, you've paid attention to it, and now it's started to shape how you want to do something differently. And so if you have a lot of feelings of a lack of confidence, if you have a lot of feelings of fear, if you feel this intense boredom all the time, this restlessness, you have to start thinking, what have I exposed myself to? What is the software that I have put in this mindset that shapes my perspective, that shapes my feelings? And maybe my mindset needs a little bit of an upgrade to start having the feelings that I want to have. So what are the very feelings that you want to have? What is it that you really want to experience? Sometimes we want to experience confidence, but we never allow ourselves to actually shape that confident mindset. Sometimes we want to experience excitement and exhilaration, but my goodness, if you dare venture out of my program, my schedule, my routine, oh, this is danger, right? So we have to allow certain things so that we can start to shape the perspective that we want to have. You want to be energized? There's certain things that you have to allow. You have to expose yourself to certain things to feel that energy, to feel that excitement, to feel that confidence. Now, the National Science Foundation in the USA released this interesting stat. They said 80% of our thoughts are negative, and 95% of our thoughts are repetitive, meaning you just have this loop on replay every single day Did you check the door? What you're going to make for dinner? Oh my goodness, the report must go in. Does that loop sound familiar? Every single day, the same things. Oh my goodness, my mother is calling. What am I going to, right? It just continues going every single day, and you wonder why you feel the way you feel every single day. And so we need to interject, and we need to put something else in that loop to start feeling a different feeling. Does that make sense? So as we start adding these different thoughts, we can start leaning into excitement more. We can start leaning into confidence more. And all of us sitting here, and the thing I like about STEAM women is they're very familiar with experiments. Sometimes I speak to certain audiences and crowds and they don't like change. Listen, I'm in admin. I don't want change. I like my boxes and leave me in it, right? But women in STEAM, women in science, women in technology, they understand. We try, doesn't work, we measure, we adjust, we apply, and then we try again. And if it doesn't work, we adjust and apply again. So that's what I like about you. I don't even have to convince you. You understand. If you don't like the outcome of your feelings right now, then we need to look at the input. What are the thoughts that we are putting in that gives us the output of the feelings? I'm not a very tech-savvy girl, but you like my terminology. Am I giving? So we need to look at what we are putting in. And when we start to look at that, we can start to address it. But sometimes we don't even have that self-awareness because we're just on autopilot. We're just going through life. Earlier this year, and let me take it back a little bit. We've had COVID. I've been speaking for a few years, and I love speaking, and I love audiences. But we had COVID, so everything was online. And there were international opportunities, but sadly it didn't include a plane ticket. It just had a Zoom link. But anyway, it was a COVID. It's okay. We understand. And then after COVID, I was like, now it is time just to go speak internationally, do some different things. But at that time, my son was 5 years old, and I decided it's time to add to the family because he's 5. If I don't add to the family now, the gap is so big. 5 years went so quickly. Let's get on with this business. Now, I'm not going to tell you what the business was. Use your imagination. Long and the short, a few months later, I found out I'm pregnant, and it was twins. And then I realized I'm not going anywhere for a long time. So my darling twins will be 2 in December. But toward the end of last year, as we were celebrating their first birthday, I was like, I did my mother duties. It's time for me to spread my wings. It was twins. You know, you can't just leave twins with anyone. One baby, maybe, but twins, no. So I stayed. And then I started feeling it's time to go overseas, and a wonderful opportunity came for me to speak in Paris. And I was like, this is incredible. Paris, me, and not a holiday. It's important that you know it's a work opportunity because that is different milestones, right? Do we understand milestones? So it was this great milestone. I'm going to Paris to speak, darling. And I saw Emily in Paris, and I saw Lucia in Paris. And it was just the fairy tale I've been waiting for. And I thought about Sarah Jessica Parker and how I must have incredible outfits every day. You know, it was all very exciting. Never mind the work I had to do. It was about the outfits, Paris and me, right? And this was a new organization. So it was a couple of phone calls. It's a little WhatsApp here. It's a Zoom there. And a couple of emails. And 2 months later, I'm on the plane. I'm on my way to Doha. And in that week, they changed the itinerary. They also changed the hotel. So while I'm sitting on the plane, I'm thinking about this. Lucia, you've never met these people. There's literally, you haven't been to the brick and mortar of this situation. This is just little online stuff. Is this AI? Is this fake? Is this real? What is happening here? And I'm sitting on the plane, and I'm like, I'm kind of cute. Maybe they'll kidnap me. So at some point, I finally get to mailing my sister. I send her, not mailing her, WhatsApp her. And I say, listen, I'm like rethinking this whole situation. What if these people kidnap me? She says, girl, you're almost 40. If they're going to kidnap someone, they're going to be 23. Sit down. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. I'll sit down and I'll relax. But in my mind, it was, I'm going to Paris. And then the anxiety sets in. But where are you going to be? Because they have not sent the updated itinerary. All very scary. And in that moment, I had to decide, how am I going to take this thought captive? How am I going to do the very thing I teach people to do, which is sometimes we have to delete and override. there's a file that comes up, and the file is they're going to kidnap you. However ridiculous it is, because in our minds, we say ridiculous things to ourselves, and if we say it out loud, other people will say, like, are you joking? Really? You worried about, we worry about stupid stuff. Oh, my nose is too long to speak. What does noses have to do with public speaking? We do ridiculous things, and in our mind, it's safe, right? But it keeps us trapped. And so in that moment, I have to override. And I sit on the plane, and I'm thinking, Lucia, delete and override. Start dreaming about the talk you're going to have. Start dreaming about the people that are going to come up to you and say, my goodness, I resonate. Even with their sexy French accent. I resonate. And I was like, oh, yes, darling. Resonate all you want, right? And I start picturing all these things. And it's me and the Eiffel Tower, and it's me with my croissant, and me with my macaroons. And I'm picturing all these wonderful moments, and I allow myself to lean into the excitement as opposed to the anxiety. And so it sounds very, very simple in this moment. But these are very real situations. And so when you're faced with, can I do the talk? Can I do the public speaking? No, it's not you. You can't do it. Just sit down. Who do you think you are? What do you have to share? No. Let me delete and override. What is the file that I want to insert so that I can feel the feelings I need to feel to do the job that I want to do, to achieve the goal that I want to achieve? And it's as simple as constantly choosing to delete and override certain thoughts that are not fueling the way we want to feel. They're not fueling the energy we need to have. There was a song, I'm going to keep it clean, Big D Energy. Somebody know that song? And I listen to that song and it just gets me in the mood. I don't know what your song is, but if I listen to that song, I'm strutting. Even if I have my earphones in, my husband's like, Big D, I say, right? It just gives me that vibe. And so sometimes when we want to step out and we want to do great things, we need to get into that vibe. We need to get into that energy. I don't feel like that all the time, every single day. I don't feel like that when I'm changing diapers. I don't feel like that after my third wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, giving bottle. I don't always feel like that, and that's okay. We don't have to hold ourselves hostage to having the superior emotions of always being on. But we do need to know how to access our on zone, our in zone, our my BD energy. I don't know what it is for you. So I'd like you to take a look at what you've been focusing on. Just a little moment to take stock. How have I been feeling? And when you feel those feelings, just ask yourself, what is the thought that led me to feeling like this? It's so interesting. Sometimes I find myself feeling low, and then I'm thinking, what was the thought? Oh, I got that email. It's actually bugging me. The fact that I haven't sorted it out, it's bugging me, and that's why I can't really focus on what I want to focus on. And immediately when I've acknowledged it, I can now shift my energy. Earlier, I mentioned the quote by Tony Robbins where he said, identify the problem, but use your power and energy for the solutions. So instead of sitting in that mucky feeling, that terrible energy and not knowing why, no, I identify the problem. It was that email that I need to sort out. Now, how can I focus my power and energy on the solution so that I can move on? Those simple little tools just help you make the shift. I want to wrap on this quote, and it is by John Maxwell. He says that change is inevitable, but growth is optional. Things change all the time. I don't know if your grandmother had the same phone, but I used to go visit my grandmother every single holiday in December and in June. That was where we'd go. All the cousins would go there. It would be so fun. We would spend a whole week there. It would be utter chaos, and we only ate Viennas and knickknacks. It was my dream come true. But when the phone rang, we all would run to answer the phone. It was the most exciting thing just to say, hello, Johnson residence, Lucia speaking. Right? It was so exciting. And the phone she had when I was young had that dial. Do you remember that phone? 0, 2, 1. It took a moment to phone someone, right? You could think about the whole conversation just in dialing. But with every model that Telkom brought out, she was there, that rectangle one. Remember that one? with the square buttons. And then eventually, you actually got the buttons on the phone. So you picked it up and you dialed on the phone. But with time, we all got smartphones. We got cell phones, we got smartphones, we got WhatsApp, and our family started a WhatsApp group. Everyone's busy, everyone's got kids, so we're not spending all our holidays together. But the amazing thing that happens is to connect with each other, to hold fast to the goal, we have to evolve. And so my grandmother started on WhatsApp. And then she started sending emojis. And she's sending gifts. And I was like, what is Ma sending? This is a volcano. And, I didn't even know what her emojis meant, but she had emojis. Point of the story is her family was important to her. Times changed. It wasn't that dial phone that she had, but she changed with the times, and she evolved because she wanted to stay connected. So you have the choice. Time's going to change. Time's going to pass anyway. Things are going to change anyway. Do you choose to grow with it? Or do you choose to sit and stay in the feelings, emotions, and mindsets that may have imprisoned you and your rock star, big D energy that would really love to come out? Thank you, ladies.